What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. My name is Toni Bryanne, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing the rise of ethnic nose jobs. Have you guys been scrolling through TikTok and noticed literally everybody seemingly looks the same, whether they're black, white, Hispanic, Indian, whoever? A lot of people are starting to look the same, and it is mainly due to them having very similar features. But how can everyone have similar features if they're all from different backgrounds? Yeah, a lot of people are getting work done to adhere to the European beauty standards, or should I say the toxic European beauty standards. This isn't just about beauty. This is about identity, internalized racial bias, and unfortunately, cultural erasure in a society that seemingly only accepts one kind of beauty standard. So I knew I absolutely had to do this video because I had been seeing so many women going ahead and getting rhinoplasties, so many black women and women of color, that it's almost disturbing. And Glorilla was unfortunately my final and last straw. We've seen Glorilla, we've seen Summer Walker, we've seen a lot of other celebrities allegedly noses getting a little smaller, and it is petrifying because it doesn't even fit or suit our faces in a lot of cases. But the question that so many people have is, why are women of color going ahead and getting these plastic surgeries, though they're notoriously known to not look that good on us because it does not match our natural facial features? Well, we're going to be discussing it all in today's video. But before we get into today's video, you guys know I like to always start with a little bit of positivity, so let's first start off with the quote of the day. Today's quote of the day is, "I bring value into every room that I enter." Today's verse of the day is Corinthians 2, chapter 10, verse 15, and it reads, "We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ." And without further ado, guys, let's get straight into today's video.
Taking you in this moment.
So today's beauty standards are deeply tied to colonial and social economic power structures, but in terms of the deep ties to colonial and social economic power that privileged European beauty standards and aesthetics, we're going to be discussing the rhinoplasty, which is the surgical and medical term for a nose job. Since forever, but we're going to highlight the 1900s until now, pale skin and delicate European facial features were seen as markers of high status, beauty, power, and importance. And unfortunately, this idea is rooted in colonial era racial hierarchies. And this later extended into the value of body shapes and facial structure, reinforcing that white is what is considered beautiful worldwide. So a lot of this was heavily promoted through advertising and media. With the Great Migration and rising black consumer power, ads for products like skin lightening creams and hair straighteners were at an all-time high, which further highlighted that European beauty standards is what was considered beautiful. And by the late 20th into the 21st century, media, television, films, and magazines continued to reinforce European features as the beauty norm. I mean, even me growing up as a kid, and I'm sure you all can probably relate too, most of the times the star person in any movie or TV show was what? A white woman or a white man. The pushed supermodels and the constant pushing of blonde hair and blue eyes being what is considered a bombshell beauty. We were always taught, and white people as well, that they were better and we were worse, even if it wasn't said blatantly. It was instilled in us, and that was due to how society treated us. So when you're constantly being told that certain features on someone else is considered and deemed as beautiful, you're gonna go ahead and try to mimic those features. And that is why we see today a lot of plastic surgery work that is meant to emulate European beauty standards. And we can talk about this for days on end, but in today's video, we're going to be discussing the rhinoplasty. But before we get further into this video and start discussing rhinoplasties and why exactly every woman is seemingly getting a rhinoplasty, I want to thank today's sponsor, Love and Pies. Okay, I've been low-key obsessed with this cozy little game I found, and it's called Love and Pies. And it's actually been my wind-down routine after editing or recording all of my videos. In the game, you're basically rebuilding your mom's cafe that burned down under super mysterious circumstances. And just when you're getting your life together, boom, your high school crush shows up. Drama and dessert, I am so in for a good time. You get to merge ingredients to make pies, upgrade your cafe, and fully decorate it however you want it to be. I went for this super girly cottagecore vibe because that's literally what my apartment looks like. I'm all for the girly vibes and the girly time. But you can make it however you want. elegant, quirky, medieval times, it's crafted to be however you want it to look. And as for the graphics, they are genuinely so cute, it feels like a visual hug every time I play. So if you need a little escape or just want something fun and relaxing to do, Love and Pies is free to download. Use my link and when you reach day 3, they'll give you a cute little gift, 200 energy and 50 gems. So if I were you, I would go ahead and download Love and Pies today and get to merging. Thank you so much Love and Pies for sponsoring this segment of today's video. Now let's get back into today's video. For decades, women of color, specifically Black, Middle Eastern, Southeast Asian, and Latina women, have been subtly and not so subtly taught that their natural features are too strong, too ethnic, too masculine, too ugly. These are the quiet codes of Western beauty culture, whether it's wide noses, full lips, strong jawlines, or high cheekbones, features that are ethnically rich and diverse and beautiful. Many of these women are told explicitly or implicitly that softening or refining them will make them more palatable, more desirable, and once again, more beautiful. And unfortunately, this pressure doesn't just come from media as I stated earlier. It shows up in family comments, dating preferences, casting decisions, and yes, even medical consultations. In a lot of our cultures, we are taught that our natural features aren't beautiful or desirable from our own family members. You'll hear it in subtle comments of your mom speaking about how you're too big, or your lips are too big, or your skin is too dark.
My uncle, he just hated me. He'd always say, but the one thing he'd always say is, "You're so dark. What woman's gonna like you?"
That young, you were saying
You
that.
think-
That's
so when I was
crazy.
growing up, he'd just be like, "You're dark." So I grew up hating my skin color. The fact that I was so dark, and my uncle would always say it every time I go to greet him. He's like, "Have you gotten darker?"
Nah. As you keep hearing that, you start internalizing it and then wanting to change those features that make you, you. And if we delve deeper even into dating preferences, when it comes to being a woman and dating men, I can only speak from a perspective of a woman because I am a woman, but I'd like to hear from the male perspective in the comments down below. So if you have thoughts, please share them down below. I'm curious to hear your thoughts too. But brown women are constantly pushed aside for women that are fairer skinned or have more Eurocentric beauty features. The reality show that displays this perfectly is Love Island. For one, the very popular dating show Love Island barely has women of color on the show, and if they do have women of color on the show, they are pairing them with men that do not see the beauty in women of color. The very out there and clear beauty, let me just say that much. I don't care if this sounds rude, but the women of color that go on Love Island are absolutely stunning and probably the most attractive person on the cast, and they will still be pushed aside for the average woman with blonde hair and blue eyes. And then if they have Black men on the show, the Black men won't even pick the woman of color. And there are a multitude of clips from the show displaying this clearly, that even if the men aren't explicitly saying, I don't want to date a Black woman or I don't want to date this woman because she's brown, it's evident in what they're thinking because she's always left last. Or they'll say little snide comments like, she's not typically my preference, or you're not who I typically date. It's repulsive, but it's something that women of color see every single day and pushes them to want to look more and more European.
Okay, we have got 2 single girls step forward for you, but you can choose any girl you like standing in front of you.
I think Danny's lovely. I'm couple up with Danny.
Oh, congratulations. Off you go.
Nice to meet
Hello,
you,
you're
yeah.
right. Lovely to meet you. Yewande or Anna?
I'm gonna go with Anna.
Amazing. Off you go. As the last single guy, you are coupled up with the last single girl, Yewande. Off you go.
Janice and Naz, Paige and Ollie, Sophie and Connor, and Shauna and Callum. And one single girl, the gorgeous Leanne.
Alima has gone for you. How are you feeling about that?
Good. Every girl is beautiful here, so.
Every girl is beautiful, but Alima chose you.
Yeah.
And when I connect this even to media, a lot of actors and actresses say they don't even get casted as the main star because of their color. Not because of their skill, but because they don't look a certain way. Literally just look at most hit kid television shows. The star of the show is typically white, and if she's not white, she's very much so adjacent to it. It's rare we saw Black women or brown women with darker skin as the stars and leads of these shows because that wasn't deemed as beautiful, or the casting director directors just saw white women or lighter skinned women as more palatable. And these kids that are seeing this as children are naturally internalizing this. And I could even speak for myself. I never wanted to be a white woman, but at one point I wanted to be white adjacent. So I wanted to be like Hispanic or have like the curlier hair. And that might be because in my culture, Black people, we typically go for women that are more, once again, white adjacent. So they might have the white desirable features, but also have the Black desirable features, if you know what I mean. Like having the softer, curlier hair, but still having full lips, having lighter skin, but still having a big butt. So things of that sort. And when I was growing up, a lot of the young boys would always say that the Hispanic women were more attractive, or the mixed girl, and that was the desirable traits to have. And I would even get complimented saying like I had longer hair because I was lighter skin, or because I was Guyanese, though Guyanese is Black, but they're like, I mean, it doesn't sound like it's African, it sounds better in their minds because we're constantly told the closer to Africa, the uglier you are. And that's how we get into medical consultations and these doctors pushing these women to go ahead and get nose jobs, even when they didn't come in asking for one. Plastic surgeons today regularly state that women of color are increasingly seeking what's been dubbed the ethnic nose job. It's now a term that's commonly used on Reddit, TikTok, and even listed in consultation requests. So unlike traditional rhinoplasty, which was often designed around Eurocentric ideals, the ethnic nose job is supposedly meant to maintain cultural identity while still narrowing the nose bridge, lifting the tip, or reducing nostril width. It's basically a refined version of your heritage. People started opting for the ethnic nose job because getting the regular nose job was making their noses too skinny. And it's funny because I just brought up Love Island, but I also noticed a lot of the Love Island cast members that are women of color have nose jobs or have gone to go and get nose jobs after leaving the show. And to me, that says that they notice that having a smaller nose is more desirable. So before I even go on the show, I'm going to go ahead and get that nose job. Or if they were on the show and then got one after, they were being made fun of for their noses. And they find flaws that you can't even see because they're being told that their natural heritage features are not attractive. Since 2023, nose jobs have become one of the top 5 plastic surgeries that people get annually. And the nose jobs that people are getting are very similar. They all want these upturned, narrowed, and dainty noses. But unfortunately, that does not fit on everybody's face. So even with the ethnic rhinoplasty, it still is centering around that mold, which is having a more refined nose. No one's getting a nose job to get a bigger nose. So even if you want to call it ethnic, you're still getting rid of your ethnic features because you're trying to look more European. And the absolutely ironic part about this is that many ethnic groups in Europe do have very prominent, quote unquote, should I say, or dare I say, big noses. Think of Italians, Greeks, Armenians, Jews, and even some Eastern Europeans. Those nose shapes were historically labeled ethnic or unrefined in Western beauty standards. So it's not necessarily about geography and it being European, it's more about proximity to whiteness and power. Hear me out when I say this. The Eurocentric ideals pushed by the media wasn't all of Europe. It was a very narrow slice of Europe. So the European countries that are known for these small upturned narrow noses are Northern and Western Europeans. So when a lot of these white influencers and white celebrities and just white people in general are going ahead themselves to go and get nose jobs, though in a lot of cases I'm sure they're not thinking this intentionally, it's the thought that the bigger the nose or the more wide the nose is seen as unattractive because it relates to more ethnic features such as the Middle East, Africa, and South Asia. So you see, you have a bigger nose on your face, you're automatically thinking that your nose needs fixing. And when we constantly are seeing celebrities get nose jobs, like I said, Bella Hadid has finally admitted to getting a nose job. Khloe Kardashian has finally admitted to getting a nose job. It starts promoting the idea of going ahead and just getting a nose job. But let's bring this back to women of color. So a lot of Black women tend to go and get a nose job because they have more of like a wide nasal base or to lift a drooping tip. A great example of a Black woman that has went ahead to go and get a nose job is Janae from Love Island. A Black person nose, I would say, quote unquote, if you want to call that. But yes, she had a ethnic nose and then she went to go get an ethnic rhinoplasty and her nose is now the dainty narrow nose. And to me, I know a lot of people love her nose job, but I think it does not look like a quote-unquote black nose. It more so adheres to that white beauty standard because it's so tiny and narrow. Middle Eastern women are known to have more of bigger noses, like their nose bulges out a little bit more, and then they're encouraged to go ahead and get a nose job. Southeast Asian women typically will have like a flat tip on their nose, and they have like a low bridge, and then they get convinced to go and get a nose job. And then Latina women will go ahead and get a nose job as well because they have more indigenous noses, because they are indigenous in a lot of cases. Cardi B has gotten a nose job before, and she confirmed this. Cardi B's Hispanic, so she had a bit of like a longer nose with like kind of flared up nostrils, I would say, and she got a more refined nose job. And Cardi got a lot of stuff done from what people say, allegedly. She looks very different than what she first looked like when she came on the scene, and it shows that women of color are constantly influenced to go ahead and get work done in order to adhere to the European beauty standards and keep up with just every traditional beauty standard, which typically relates to being more European. Cardi has gotten her teeth done, she's gotten her nose done, she's gotten her body done several times. She's constantly getting work done to upkeep these things, but I'm speaking specifically on the nose job because that's the one place on your face that shows most of your heritage, and she took that away. And now Cardi doesn't even look like Cardi anymore. Is she beautiful? Absolutely. But it's not the same Cardi that we first saw. Bella Hadid, who is a Middle Eastern woman, she went ahead and got a nose job as well, and a lot of other things. I'm thinking more so probably Botox and filler, but her face does look incredibly different from when she was younger, and she admitted to going ahead and getting a nose job at just 14 years old.
In the latest issue of Vogue magazine, Bella Hadid has come clean with her plastic surgery. She admits to undergoing a nose job at the age of 14, which took her from this to this.
And yes, Bella has close proximity to whiteness, but she still is Middle Eastern and had a lot of those Middle Eastern features that she wasn't proud of, that she didn't like. And if you compare Bella Hadid to her sister Gigi Hadid had the blonde hair and the blue eyes, whereas Bella had the more Middle Eastern features. Though I personally feel like Bella Hadid was very beautiful. I know a lot of people look at old pictures of Bella and they're like, oh my god, she looks so different, which I can see she does, but I do think it also came with aging and maybe a little Botox and filler, but her natural face still was pretty. It's not like she was ugly before and now she's beautiful. I think she always had a very pretty, unique face. But if you're constantly being told that your features aren't attractive and your sister's are, and your sister has more of those Western European beauty standards, you're gonna go ahead and try and look like your sister. And I think that's exactly what she went ahead and did. So next we're gonna be speaking on someone that we've been hearing a lot about, which is Glorilla, the rapper Glorilla. I don't know if you guys know Glorilla or not, but I'm sure if you're watching this channel, you know who she is. But Glorilla recently allegedly announced that she went ahead and got a nose job, okay? And people are coming for her nose job saying that it looks botched and it looks a mess.
Whoever did Glorilla nose, like, what was the plan? What was the vision? Like, what did you have in mind? Because it just looked like they just like pulled it and tucked it on the sides. They didn't like round it out or nothing. They just like made it wide and like tucked, but like flat. It got a nice side profile. I'm not against plastic surgery. Do whatever make you happy, but like, what was the inspo pic? I'm just curious, out of curiosity. It's like, I've never seen a nose look like that ever. I've never seen like a wide, flat, and pointy nose.
And though I can agree with that to a certain extent, I do think that it's going to take time for her nose to heal. When you first get a nose job, as most people I'm sure know, your nose isn't going to look its absolute best. It needs time to heal. I believe it takes a year for your nose to heal because it gets very swollen and then it has to shape and adapt. And that's what makes me scared about nose jobs. I don't know how y'all go ahead and get all these nose jobs done or get all this work done, because once you get your nose done, that thing is stuck on your face and it is one of your most prominent features. So if you get a botched nose job where your nose does not look good, which a lot of people are saying that these young ladies are going ahead and getting botched nose jobs, more so the black and brown women are getting botched nose jobs because their doctors don't know what they're doing and only know how to do nose jobs on white people. That's on your face forever, and that is too big of a risk for my liking, okay? But yeah, you most likely don't know what your nose is going to look like until a year later, and then that's what opts a lot of women to continue getting work done because they don't like their nose. They're like, I thought it was gonna look like this, or they did like the first result, but then it healed and it started looking looking a little bit different. So now they're mad at that nose. It's just too much pressure for me, but they go ahead and do it. But I think the concern that a lot of people had with Glorilla as an artist is that when Glorilla first came out, they liked the fact that she did not adhere to a lot of the beauty standards. She had a bigger nose. She was skinnier. She didn't have the face that every single female rapper has. Like, they all have a very similar look or a very similar archetype. And she didn't match that, and people admired that about her. So as she's going ahead and slowly changing herself, it's alarming people because they're like, you were the difference. You were showing young women that it's okay to love your natural features and they're not ugly just because they're different. So when she went ahead and did that, it was kind of like a slap in the face to people. And I'm not saying that she needs to go ahead and follow what everybody else wants her to do, because I think that's what led her in this place to begin with, because I think that people were constantly calling her ugly, like on social media. She was getting that a lot, that she's not attractive. And though she said she did not care, when you keep hearing the same thing and people just being so nasty and callous towards you, it's eventually going to get to you and you might go ahead and change something about yourself.
So Glorilla got a nose job, and I cannot say that I'm surprised, just due to the amount of bullying she received in regards to her features. A lot of light-skinned people have very Eurocentric features, so they typically have a slimmer nose, smaller lips, and Glorilla is somebody who is light-skinned and that has very black features. She has a big nose, she has big lips, right? And people are not used to seeing that on light-skinned people. So I wish she hadn't got the nose job, because I don't think that there was anything wrong with her nose. I do think it's, you know, the nose job is very subtle. It does kind of have the little point that, you know, black people get when they get nose jobs, but I can't blame her because people really bullied this girl bad, and a lot of people get work done because of bullying. I feel like the same thing was done to Cardi B, and she got her nose done because of people bullying her about her nose.
And it's like the same thing happens with so many black and brown celebrities. They come into the industry one way and then they end up looking completely different when they start getting a lot of fame. And even with white celebrities like Blake Lively, who has not admitted to getting a nose job, but her nose looks very different from when she first was on the scene. It's like every single celebrity goes ahead and gets a nose job in order to adhere and adapt to the Western European beauty standards. And the last celebrity I want to speak about this with is Summer Walker. Summer Walker's nose job literally made me so upset because she had a regular nose. Like, I know some people might have more defined noses that they're just not the biggest fan of, but Summer's nose was fine. Like, it matched her face, it looked good, but then she still went ahead and got work done. And not just her nose done, she allegedly went and got a BBL too, and now her butt is massive. Like, Summer just looks very different. And though I think her nose looks better now because it has healed, like I said, it takes time to heal. Yeah, her nose when she first got it was giving scary. It did not match her face or her facial features at all because it was not meant for her. Black, brown, white, whatever, our noses look a certain way because it's supposed to match our faces. And that's why I believe a lot of nose jobs don't come out looking how people want them to look, because it's not meant for you. That nose shape is not meant for you to have. And then lastly, what brought me to even speak on this video was this woman that went ahead and got a nose job, a black woman. And the internet was dragging her, okay? Specifically TikTok, because they were saying her nose job did not eat and it was not looking good. Take a look at what people had to say and take a look at this woman's nose job.
Hello guys, I wanted to show you my 5-week post-op nose reveal. This is what she's looking like from the front. This is her from the side. Other side. The nostrils, don't mind that thing in there. It's not a booger, it's just a stitch that still needs to dissolve. Overall, I am very happy with my nose and how she's turned out. Granted, she's still very swollen and the tip is still very high up, but as the weeks progress, it will drop. Again, this is it. This is her. I'm very happy.
I wanted my nose done, but after seeing that lady, and you know what lady I'm talking about, I think I'm gonna sit my silly ass down. I think I'm gonna, like, the filter, you really can't see how big my nose really is. It's just like, I mean, you can see it, but this part is real big, and I just want it, like, I want it to look like this for real. Just like this. You see it's a filter on it. Without the filter, it's like it's just like a hump right here. It's just like, I can't stand it. But you know what? I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone before I tear something up. She humbled me. She told me. She showed me. That was a sign.
Apparently, I got my nose done by Michael Jackson's doctor, and you guys ate me up in the comments.
But again, I'm still in the early stages of healing. This is not my final form. I can't wait to document my journey and take you guys along to see how my healing goes and develops.
I do not condone bullying online, okay? But I do condone using certain messages as a PSA. Women go ahead and change so many things about themselves because society says that you should, when a lot of the times it backfires. And people are going to talk about you either way. They're going to talk about you before the surgery and they're going to talk about you after the surgery. So you going ahead to adapt to a certain look because this is what is deemed as beautiful, or you going ahead and getting work done because someone else told you to do it, that does not make it okay, because you're the one that has to live and suffer with those consequences if it does not turn out how you want it to look. Once you get a nose job, 9 out of 10 times, you're never going to get your original nose back, okay? Nose jobs are a very serious surgery, for one, and for two, if it's botched, it's botched. They can maybe fix it, like I've seen the show Botched on E! Network, and it still doesn't look how it originally was supposed to look. It's gonna always have a kind of odd look to it, and once you touch it, because they literally break your nose in order to give you a new nose, and I don't think that is a common risk that you would want to take. But in all seriousness, I believe this goes beyond aesthetics. This is about identity, pressure, and personal choice under a microscope that women have to deal with every single day, and I'll even say men. So before you go ahead and get a nose job, let's think about some of the concerns that can happen. For one, your cultural identity will be lost. When you hear the phrase ethnic nose job, it's not just a cosmetic term, okay? This is a cultural battleground that we're dealing with. People of color constantly being told that their features are not good enough. These procedures often come with an unspoken narrative. That narrative being, your features aren't beautiful enough as they are. For many Black, Middle Eastern, Southeast Asian, and Latina women, the pressure to refine can feel like a subtle erasure of where they come from. A great person to speak about this with is Kim Kardashian, though she's denied getting any work done, period. But Kim came on the scene having very ethnic features to leaving the scene and looking very racially ambiguous. Like, you wouldn't be able to tell what Kim is. You're like, well, she's ethnic to some sort, but before you can literally see Kim's Armenian features in her. They were so strong, but now they basically disappeared. So those features that your parents and your ancestors gave you will forever be lost. And it goes even deeper than that. A lot of these doctors doing these ethnic nose jobs do not know how to work on people of color. Non-white noses often have thinner cartilage, softer tissue, or unique internal structures that aren't always accounted for in traditional rhinoplasty techniques. Reddit threads and TikTok story times are literally filled with horror stories of people of color that went ahead and got nose jobs. They have breathing issues, collapsed bridges, needed multiple revisions, all because the surgery tried to standardize a nose that was never meant to be standardized. There are countless stories of the botched nose job, including the woman that we just spoke on a little bit earlier. So many people going in, getting their nose done, and it coming out being botched, and it coming out looking a complete mess. Why risk that when you can just learn to embrace and love your features? Now, I want to be clear, this is not about shaming plastic surgery. It's about understanding why you may feel the need to go ahead and get work done. Is it truly for you, or is it for you to become the baddest on Instagram? Or is it because your boyfriend said your nose was too strong, or your online bully said it? We have to start thinking critically about the decisions we make, because we're the ones that have to live with them after all is said and done, not the person that made fun of you and convinced you to go ahead and get a nose job. I wholeheartedly believe that we should be allowed to change what we want, but we should never feel like we have to erase where we come from in order to feel seen, respected, or beautiful. But you guys, that is the end of today's video. I want to know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you guys for the ethnic nose job? Are you against it? Are you against plastic surgery in general? Let's get the discussion going on in the comments down below. Please be sure to go ahead and check out Love and Pies. It is such a fun game, and I am sure you guys will love it too. It will be linked down below. Remember, we are on the road to 300,000 subscribers, so please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And yeah, do all the things in order to keep this family growing and going. I love and I appreciate you guys so very much, and I will see you all in my very next video. Love you guys. Bye. Mwah.
Taking you in this moment.